If you're looking to start an AI agency or scale an AI agency if you're already running one, but maybe you're having trouble with the marketing, the sales, the fulfillment, the nurturing sequences, how to convert these clients, whatever the case may be, by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. And look, as you can see, I've done a little over $500,000 selling conversational AI and just AI in general to businesses. And so I'm going to show you everything I've learned because if I can do it, you can do it. I'm a 21-year-old university dropout. If I can make $500,000, you can make at least 200,000, 100,000 a year, right? Surely we're on the same page with that. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you everything. So first things first, let's get over to this here. We're going to be covering quite a bit here. As you can see, we got a decent little bit on the screen here. Let me move this out of the way. Let's go full screen and let's get into this. All right. I'm going to try to keep this video a little bit shorter than some of my other ones just because I don't want to get to the 30-40 minute range here. So let's get into it. Number one is the niche. What niche do you pick? Firstly, all niches are great. It's not the niche that makes you the money. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's the systems. Every niche has, every niche has profitable businesses. Every niche has qualified businesses. Every niche has unqualified businesses. We want to set things up to get rid of the unqualified businesses and speak with the qualified businesses, which I'm going to lay out here, how to do that and how to make sure everything is systemized and efficient. So when it comes to picking a niche, I recommend picking a niche that maybe you have experience in. If you've worked with a roofing company maybe in the past or a summer job or you were employed there for a few years, whatever it may be, pick them because you have prior knowledge, right? You know the lingo, you know the terms, you know how they operate. You have a bit of an advantage in that niche versus other niches. So that's what I'd recommend right off the bat. But look, these are some great ones here. Home service is awesome. Roofers, HVAC, pool openers, plumbers, electricians, construction, all great because they're very heavily appointment booking based, quotes. They do inspections. They have to book a lot of different things, right? Now, in terms of professionals, lawyers, accountants, dentists, doctors, real estate agents, they're all very heavily appointment booking based. And, a lot of customer service and stuff, and receptionists as well, very phone call heavy based. Info products, coaches, consultants, e commerce, SaaS, marketing agencies. Out of the info products is definitely the most untapped out of these three sections here. I see some people go after marketing agencies. We've worked with a ton of marketing agencies because I ran a marketing agency, so I knew how to sell to marketing agencies. And so a lot of coaches, consultants, e-commerce, SaaS, great businesses to go after. Very, very heavily appointment booking based, right? Coaches, consultants, they're exclusively appointment booking. SaaS, very much appointment booking because they're trying to get people on their subscription. Pick a niche that you're comfortable in. Pick a niche. Don't waste time. That's the number one thing. From number one section here, the biggest thing is don't waste time on a niche. Pick one, stick to it, and now let's move on to step two there. Hope you guys got your niche, right? You got your niche? You got your niche. Comment your niche down below, and I'll tell you if it's a good one or not. I'm just kidding. They're all good. Number two, now, you picked a niche. Now we got to get leads in that niche, right? How do we get leads in that niche? And so it's about constructing a good offer because people aren't going to they're not going to opt into any of your ads. They're not going to want to work with you if you don't have a good offer. If your offer is complete shit, nobody's going to work with you, right? It's the same as anything else. If your thing sucks, nobody wants it. Now, business growth strategy, getting leads, getting appointments, and closing deals. That's all about it. This is what you're going to be constructing your offer to do. One of these three or all of these three, right? If you're very, very new, it's just going to be getting appointments. You're just going to stick to the AI and keep it simple. And look, if you guys want a much more in depth cover of all of this stuff, click the links below. I have a free community that shows you everything. There's over 10,000 people in it learning how to do this. You can get that for free. We also have paid options, but you can learn more than enough from just the free stuff. So when you're constructing your offer, there's three main things that we're going to be trying to do for these businesses: either getting leads, getting appointments, or closing deals. Getting appointments is the best one for people who are just starting because the AI can do that very, very easily. That's what we want to focus on. If you have experience doing lead gen, Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, LinkedIn ads, TikTok ads for businesses, you can offer that as well. If you don't, I don't think it's necessarily worth learning because it's not high enough leveraged activity. But if you do this, if you already have the experience, you might as well use it. And so if you have that experience, you can sell the getting leads, the lead gen side of it with the AI. Boom, a great offer. Now, if you don't have the experience, you're new, maybe you're under the 5K a month mark, under the 10, 15K a month mark, even, you just want to focus on getting the appointments. You can sell the AI for 10, 15K up front, no problem. And that's the getting the appointment side of things. We set the AI up to call a bunch of leads for the business, whether it's, calling just a large list of leads at once, getting triggered as leads are getting generated from the ads that they're already running, whatever the case may be. That's a good thing. You can sell that for 5, 10, 15K. A lot of our partners do. We've done it. And there's also the closing deals side of things. This is the toughest part to learn if you're new, right? Because you don't have sales skills. You can't teach a business how to close deals better if you don't know how, right? But if you do, maybe you're a sales agency and you're kind of looking to branch into AI, whatever the case may be. If you have experience in placing closers, sales training, constructing scripts, refining sales processes, you can bundle all of this together to now you're doing the lead gen, the AI for the appointment setting and the follow-ups and the nurturing and whatnot, and you're helping with the sales side of things, whether that's placing a closer, training their current existing sales team, building more sales process, refining their sales process. Now you're looking at like a 20, 30, 40 grand offer. But again, if you're just starting out and you just want to stick to the basics, that's completely fine. I recommend that if you're starting out, you're just selling the AI agents to businesses, 5, 10, 15K up front, 1,500 a month. We'll get into that in a second here, but you can make more than multi 6 figures, 7 figures a year just doing that. So that's number 2. So let's quickly go over what we went through so far. Niche. Pick any niche. They're all great, but pick one quick and stick to it. Offer. You want to cover 3 main bases or 1 of 3 or 2 of 3. But these are the 3 main things: getting leads, getting appointments, and closing deals. The more you can cover, the higher value your offer is. But even if you're covering one, your offer is very, very valuable as long as it's the appointment setting with the AI. Now, number 3, how do we fulfill on this offer? There's a few different ways, all right? Because if you're not a tech person, you don't know how to code, you're not gonna be able to do this yourself very easily. I'm not a tech person, so I know how to do I know how to show you how to do fulfillment because I'm not a tech person. So if you're not a tech person, follow what I show you here. So the client pays you. You can have a contractor to do the build, whether that's a software engineer or an AI specialist that you find on Fiverr, Upwork, Online Jobs, PH, or you're using an agency like ours, for example, where we take 10% of the deal and we do your fulfillment for you, and you just sit back and watch, and we take care of it entirely. Then you pay whoever it is that's doing the build their percentage. For us, 10%. Maybe you find somebody on Fiverr or Upwork who's like $1,000 or $500, whatever it may be. You pay them their percentage, then the contractor performs the service gets delivered to the client, and then you retain majority of the funds. That's essentially like AI arbitrage almost, right? Like you're kind of the middleman almost. And so it's very, very easy to scale, very easy to kind of sit back and let it happen. Because if you close a deal for 10K, you pay 1,000 to this developer, for example, then you have a couple other expenses, but you're profiting quite a bit just sitting there pretty. So now we know how to fulfill for the clients. All right. So niche, pick any niche. You want to create an offer that's designed to get leads, get appointments, or close deals, or all of the above. Fulfill this offer, you want to use a third party, whether if you're a developer or somebody who's tech savvy, you can do this yourself, no problem. But most people aren't, like me, I'm not. So we have developers on our team that do it, or use an agency that does it. Upwork, Fiverr, Online Jobs, PH, those are 3 places you can find pretty cheap people to do it for you. And exactly like I said right here, hire a marketing agency. For the lead gen side, there's a few different ways you can go about this, right? Let's say you are doing all 3: the sales, the lead gen, and the appointment booking, which again, you don't need to, but you can hire a marketing agency or a media buyer on those same places: Online Jobs, PH, Upwork, Fiverr, or an agency, and you could probably get them for anywhere from 500 to 1,500 bucks a month. And then you can hire an AI developer for a similar cost, and then hire a VA for sales scripts, which it depends. It depends. But these 2 you can 100% do. And that's, you can fill in the offer and you are essentially just a middleman outsourcing to other people. So now that we know the niche, what we're kind of constructing the offer to do for a business, how we can potentially fulfill that for a client, how much do we sell this for? So when we're selling it, there's a couple different ways we can go about it, right? The best way is to get a large upfront payment, have some sort of monthly retainer in there as well. So initial payment, typically we like to try to get a 10 grand, right? 10 grand is a sweet number to get paid up front. A good number to get paid up front. Everybody wants 10 grand, right? So 10K, client pays you 10K up front, and you can offer them 3 months support for that 10K. You know what, you pay me 10K, I'll do 3 months of support included because I'm just such a good guy, right? That's what you're going to offer. And then after that, you can do a monthly support fee of anywhere from $500 to $1,500 per month after those 3 months. Pretty standard. If the AI is doing good and your offer is doing good for the client, they'll have no problem paying that. Client will cover their own ad spend, and client will cover their own software fees. Of course, you're not going to pay for their ads, you're not going to pay for their softwares, etc. They'll cover all that. And so that's how we're going to price it. There's other ways you can go about it. You can do, rev share per appointment, anything along those lines, but you want to try to go for an upfront payment and a monthly retainer. Typically, we see people charge anywhere from 5K to about 12, 13K upfront, then anywhere from about $300 to $1,500 a month. So that's what we want to try to get it in. So niche, pick any niche, move quick. Constructing the offer to do one of these 3 things or 3 of these 3 things: get leads, get appointments, and close deals. And then how to fulfill: you outsource to clients. For the lead gen, a media buyer or an agency; for the AI, a media or a developer or an agency; and for the sales side, if you're maybe a sales agency if you want, but sales agencies are relatively expensive. So what are the profit margins on something like this? All right, what do the profit margins look like? Let me zoom out a little bit here. So let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, cool. We still got a little bit to go through here. So what are the profit margins looking like on this? So let's say the financial breakdown. This is what we can roughly expect. So let's say you close the deal for 10K, for example. So white label agency, let's say this is if you're doing the lead gen for them as well. Or yeah, the lead gen as well. You're paying them 1,500, let's say, which again, if you're not offering lead gen, this expense isn't there. So think about it however you want. AI developer, $1,000. That's 2,500 in expenses so far. And then virtual assistant, if you want them for a monthly salary of $300, which is pretty standard. So now you're looking at 2,800 bucks. So if you charge them 10 grand, you're gonna be profiting 7,200 bucks. This should not say 6,600 bucks. Imagine this says, can I get rid of that? I wonder. No. Imagine that says 7,200 bucks because that's what your profit would be, right? If this totals 2,800, and then if you aren't selling lead gen, you can still very well sell the AI for just 10K, no problem. We have people doing it all the time. We do it, and then you can get rid of this 1,500 expense, and now you're only sitting at, and you don't need a VA for that either. You're just paying the developer, and then you spend 1,000, so now your profit's 9 grand. Then maybe you have ad costs and software costs. Let's say you spent 1,000 bucks on ads to get this client. That's only $2,000 in expenses. You have $8,000 profit, and you don't even need to fulfill. You close the client, you get paid, you sit back. The agency or the developer takes care of the build, and you're just sitting there with your 8 grand, all happy and excited and ready to close the next deal. So that's why this model is so great. Now, selling the offer. Meta. This is how do we go about the ads? There's Meta, Facebook, Instagram ads. We use ChatGPT to cook up the copy because on Meta, this is the primary way we set up our ads. I have another video completely going in depth on how to set up the entire ad campaign, the creatives, the copy, the headline, everything, step by step how we do that. So you can check that out on my channel. But in terms of running the ads themselves, we run on Facebook and Instagram. Very, very effective. And so we typically run these creatives, demo creatives, which I'll get into in a second here. Demo creatives, UGC creatives, AI UGC creatives, they're all very, very good. And so I'm going to show you here in a second. ChatGPT to cook up some copy. You can type in a prompt very similar to this and just tweak and refine the copy. ChatGPT is getting crazy good at writing copy, so you can do that. And then when it comes to creating the scripts, you want to the script that ChatGPT spits out for you. You want to put it into one of these, either a demo of the AI where you're speaking to the AI, having a conversation with it, or into a UGC creative like Arcads or Creatify, or you hire a human. I think AI is probably better, but this is a human AI on the screen who's following the script and talking. It looks pretty realistic, but again, it is just a UGC ad. So how do you want to structure? The campaign itself? When you're running an ad campaign, I'm going to try to spitball this here as quickly as I can for you. So actually, let me pull up. Let's draw this out so you guys can actually get a clear idea here. So this is what it's going to look like. Let's get some squares up here. I don't want that to be a black square. So let's get a square here. Boom. What it's going to look like is you're going to have your campaign is going to be this whole thing here. All right, your campaign. That's your campaign, right? It holds everything. And so inside of your campaign, let's write this campaign. Can I make that a little bigger? Let me see if I can make that text a little bigger. Okay, campaign. So you have one campaign here, right? Now inside of that campaign, let's say you're going to have 3 ad sets. 1, 2, 3. So you have 3 ad sets, right? And now inside of each of these ad sets, you want to have 3 different targetings because we want to test what targeting is going to do better. Let's say I'm going after, let's say, for example, let's make this text white real quick. Let's say we're going after roofing companies, for example. So I'll do roofing as one. Can I make this a little bigger here? Say we'll go roofing for 1. We'll go, let's say, AI, artificial intelligence. I like to do that for all of these, test that out. In artificial, oops, I don't know why I'm typing, intelligence. And then we'll do a third interest here of, let's say, roofing, let's say contracting, for example. That's probably one as well along these lines. Again, you might want to look into a bit better interest, but I'm kind of just spitballing here to give you an idea of what this looks like. And then we have this here. So contract. So those are the 3 interests, all right? And now let's make these a little bigger so we can fit some other stuff inside of here. Now, inside of each of these, we're going to have creatives, copy, and headlines. So what that's going to look like, let's grab a different shape for this here. Why are these defaulting to black? I don't know, but let's make this white. Boom. Why does it say Terminator? What? Okay. Creative 1, creative, and we're gonna have 3 creatives. Boom, boom. We're gonna have 3 creatives inside of each of these, right? Let's put this one over here. And so this is what each of these are going to look like. I'm just gonna try this and then boom. Okay, so inside of each of these, we have 3 creatives. They're going to be different, but the same ones inside of each of these. So let's say you have a demo, and a UGC. You're going to do demo, UGC, the same creatives in all of these ad sets, because if the creatives are different, we're not going to know if it's the interest that's actually performing better or if it's the creative itself. So we want all the variables to be the same other than the interest. So we can see after a couple of days which one of these interests is performing the best. Then we'll also be able to see, because if we use dynamic creative, which is an option inside of the campaign, which if you watch my other video, I'll show everything inside of there. Dynamic creative on Facebook is a very good, strong, option to be able to test things, because even if we have different interests, like we do, right? Contracting, artificial intelligence, and roofing, Facebook will tell us which one of our creatives inside of that ad set is performing the best. So we can test the interest, test the creatives at the same time. And then what we're also going to have is we're going to also have inside of there headlines. We want to test different headlines as well. What headlines performing the best? And so inside of here, we will have 2 headlines, because dynamic creative will also tell us which headline's doing the best. So inside of each of these ad sets, we're going to have two headlines. And so that way dynamic creative will now tell us which creatives are doing the best, which headlines are doing the best, and then we'll also be able to see on the overview of the campaign which interest is doing the best. And then also inside of here, we're going to have primary text. And that's just the main body of copy that you'll see on a Facebook ad. And so here now, I'll just write primary for this. We'll have 2 primary texts inside of here. So now I guess you can probably guess where I'm going with this now. Now, inside of each of these ad sets, right? So we have this whole campaign, and then we have an ad set, right? In each ad set, there's different interests so that we can see which interest performs the best. Then inside of these ad sets, we have 3 creatives, 2 headlines, 2 primary texts, and the exact same 3 creatives, the exact same 2 headlines, and the exact same 2 primary texts are in each ad set. So now we're able to see which interest is doing the best, which creatives are doing the best, which headlines and which primary texts are all doing the best within one campaign. And that's how we can do very efficient testing with this. And then we can find the winners. So now let's say after a couple days, we see that, okay, contracting did the best. Contracting did the best out of the interests. And now let's say creative 1 did the best, headline 2 did the best, and primary text 2 did the best. We take all of these in a new campaign and we relaunch it, because now these are the identified winners. These are our winning creative, copy, headline, and interest targeting. So now we'll relaunch with those, and we'll continue testing others to see if there's other better performers. But now, after the first batch of tests, we know these are the winners. And so I know I went off track a little bit there, but I hope that gives you a good idea of kind of what the structure looks like with the actual ads themselves and how you structure that campaign. Again, I have an entire other video. It's like a 30-minute video, maybe even longer, going in depth, setting up the entire campaign from start to finish. But I wanted to show you that quickly. And so the creatives, right? UGC or demo call ads. So I already explained that a bit. Now let's scroll down. So what happens if somebody's interested in your ad and they want to click the button learn more, which is what somebody will click if they're interested in your ad. Now we want to take them to the funnel. The funnel is important, right? Because now the whole point of the funnel is to filter out the unqualified leads, because no matter how good your ads are, you're going to have unqualified leads clicking on them. That's just the way it goes. So we want to make sure we get rid of them. They don't go all the way through. So first things first is they have the VSL page. The VSL page is the very first page they're going to see, and it has the VSL. VSL just means video sales letter. Ours is about a 25-minute video where we're handling all the main objections, answering all the main questions, and making the person want to buy more. We know when somebody watches our VSL, they are much, much more qualified prospect. If they don't watch it, we don't even want to speak to them, because they're probably going to have a ton of questions and a ton of objections that would have been answered and handled in that video. Because now somebody opted into our ad. Now we have to do everything we can from the point they opt in to get them to book a call. That is our objective now. They've opted in. We need to have everything set up from this point to make them want to book a call. You'll have a small percentage that will book organically from the ad, but now we need to do what we can to get them to book. So let's say they watch the VSL and they're interested. Now they click the book a call button right there, book a free demo call. That brings them to this. This is called the qualification page. We use a type form, but for us, we have a quick revenue question. If they pick they're doing 0 to 10K, they're out of our funnel. I don't want them. They're gone. They're too unqualified. And so let's say you're targeting roofing companies doing 50K a month or more. Your question would be, is your roofing company making over $50,000 a month? If they say no, they're kicked out of the funnel. If they say yes, they get brought to what is known as the booking page. And so the booking page is very, very important. And so the booking page, what this does here is it answers even more questions. It's the calendar now. They made it through the first qualifier. They may not be the most qualified, but they were qualified enough for us to allow them to book. And so now there's a couple other questions here. Name, email, phone number, website, explain your business, what bottlenecks do you want to have Insight AI solve for you? And for you, it'd be your business. What do you want them to solve for you? Or if there was a guaranteed ROI, are you in a position to be able to invest 5K or more? That's a financially qualifying question. Have you watched the pre-call video? We need people to watch the pre-call video or we will cancel them. That's why this is a question. And then another little micro commitment. Do you agree to show up? Now, let's say they do book. They book there, they get brought to a thank you page. The whole point of the thank you page is to increase the show up rate because now this person booked. They've already booked. They get sent to our thank you page. A booking is great, right? But a booking means absolutely fucking nothing if they don't show up. They might as well have not booked in the first place, right? Because it's actually worse because now you waste your time hopping on the call and they just don't show up. So the thank you page is massively important for increasing the show up rate. Our show up rate has been between 87 and 91% since the beginning of Insight AI, and is largely because of the thank you page. So first things first, it's important. Call out, complete these following 3 steps. First is watch this 93-second video. Very straightforward video of me just kind of yapping, saying thank you for booking your call. Make sure you complete these next 2 steps to ensure that your call doesn't get canceled. First thing is this: confirm your call. Click the yes on the Calendly booking on the Google Calendar. This is huge. Don't ask me why, but when people click that yes button on their invitation on Google Calendar, it massively, massively increases the show up rate. The show up rate is so much lower when they don't click that yes. It's just a micro commitment, but it makes a huge difference. And then the number 3 step is making sure they watch the VSL. We have the VSL again down there to make sure that they freaking watch that thing. Now, let's say somebody gets onto your funnel but they don't book. And so 1 to 3% of cold leads self-book. Usually you can get this can usually be sitting anywhere from, let me actually change this real quick. It's more so 5 to like 12%. 5 to 12% of cold leads book. So anywhere from about 1 in every 8 leads to about 1 in every kind of 15 leads. Or 1 in every kind of 20 leads will book. So what do you do, right? Because now let's say you have 20 leads, but only 1 of them books. We don't just want to waste the other 19 leads. That's just a waste of all the money we just spent on getting those leads. So how do we get those other leads to book? There's a couple different ways. First is SMS sequences inside of Go High Level. We're hammering them with text messages. First SMS gets sent within literally 2 seconds or probably 10, 15 seconds after they opt in. Second SMS, and you can have a lot of different sequences. And then we usually send them SMSs once they're in our ecosystem. They're getting text messages from us forever until they tell us to either, fuck off, or they block us, or they book a call and close. So those are their only options, and that's what you want to have it as. And then we have follow-ups, of course, going really forever. The other option is, well, not the other option. You want to have all of these going at once, but emails. You have text going, you have emails going. So you start with daily emails for the first 2 to 3 weeks, and then send reactivation emails monthly to try to get them to book in. Reactivation emails is just sending a huge blast of emails to all your leads in your list. And then the other thing is the phone calls, right? So we're covering the text, the emails. Now we also want to cover the phone calls. You can have a human doing it, but we're an AI company. We're selling AI, so we might as well use AI. You can use our platform, Insight AI. You can use things like Synflow, Vapi, Bland. They all work great. AI calling appointment setter, double dial right away. Double dial means you call them. If it goes right to voicemail, they don't answer, you call them again right away. Because most people have do not disturb on. So if you call them the first time, it's not even going to ring. So you need to double dial. Double dials will massively increase your pickup rate. Then you want to follow up in 1 hour and then 12 hours, and then call them two times a week for a month, and then call once per month until dead. That's really the way you want to do follow-ups, and you can set the AI to do that. So that's what you do if people aren't opting in. But let's say they book. Let's continue on the booking flow, right? So they book in. You need to make sure they show up, right? Which is all of the booking reminders, right? So from the point that they opted into your ad, right? The whole goal was to have everything set up to get them to book. Now they booked. Now everything from the point of them booking is to get them to show up. And the whole point of getting them to show up is so that you can actually try to close them, right? They booked in. From the point they booked in to the point they get on the call, we want to be hammering them with as much information, as much value, as many testimonials, and just as much content as we possibly can so that they see us, they trust us, they know us, and they like us before they get on that call. And so when we get down here, when you're pitching the client, there's a few main ways that you want to go about this, all right? When it comes to pitching the client, you do not want to sell the AI. You want to sell the outcome. When you're going through a sales call, there's a few main ways that you want to go about this. You want to do the discovery. The discovery is the first part of the call. You're getting to know them. Actually, let's rewind. Before the discovery is very, very basic rapport building. Hey, how's it going? Where are you from? Oh, I've never been there before. I've always heard good things. Blah, 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 blah. And then you get into the call. Now it's discovery. The whole point of discovery is to get to know about the business, find out about their specific situation. Why did they even book the call? What's got them looking into AI? Why are they looking into AI now? What stopped them from looking into AI before? What's the big driving factor that got them to want to book a call with us specifically? What have they seen to get them to what have they seen to get them to trust us to solve their problem? What is their big problem? What is the thing that they want to, or what do they want their life to look like when this problem is solved? How can our solution do that? You want to find out as much as you can about their specific situation. What are their drivers to getting on here? What are their goals with implementing the AI? Really, really go in on those pain points. If they have a pain, because they do, they wouldn't be on the call if they didn't, even if it's minor, you want to make them realize that it's more serious than they think it is. Some will hop on knowing it's serious, but some will hop on thinking it's minor. So you need to make them realize that it is serious. And that way, the desired outcome seems so much more just amazing to them, that now you and your service can be the thing that bridges the gap between their pains and their desires. And then you show them the value they're going to get on the outside, how their life is going to change, how many appointments they're going to get on autopilot now, how they no longer need to train, manage, onboard these humans to do these calls, these cold calls, and these appointment booking calls, because now they're going to get all their time back because an AI can completely automate and replace that while getting them even more appointments than they've ever seen. And so that's how you kind of want to approach it. Again, that's just a quick kind of overview and how you want to navigate that sales call. But typically, you want to go about these types of things on it, right? So, firstly, the onboarding. Let's get into the onboarding. We really already covered most of this stuff here. I'm going to quickly show you the onboarding process. All right. So this is our entire onboarding process here when we sign a client. And this is actually going to be from the perspective of when our partners close a client, they want us to do the fulfillment. So if you do decide you want to work with us, which you can click the link below to book a call and see if you'd be a good fit with that. But this is what the process is going to look like. Let's say you close a client, you sign the agreement, you got them to pay. Now you fill out this form, which is giving us your best email and then paying us the 10% to do the fulfillment for you. And then that form triggers a Zap, which this Zap triggers an email to get sent to you to the email that you filled out here. Then what this email looks like is just telling you what the steps are going to look like for the fulfillment process. And then we give you the link to a form. This form you give to your client. This is the exact form that we give to our end user clients, the businesses that we work with. And this is a very extensive form because we need to get every single piece of information we can to make sure this build is as smooth and as perfect as possible. So your client's going to fill this out: name, email, phone number, business name, the login to the Insight platform. If they don't have one, they create their account right there. A doc with general FAQs, Q&As that they typically get so that we can give that information to the AI, common objections, all that sorts of stuff. A template that maybe their human team is using, because that's usually a good kind of indicator of things that we can follow, because it usually works fairly well. And then we can use that to kind of construct the script for the AI. How many agents do they purchase? What do they want them to do? How many follow-ups do they want the AI to do? How often, right? Is it once every 24 hours between 9 and 5 p.m. for 10 days in a row? Is it 3 times a day for the first week, 2 times a day for the second week? Yada, yada, yada. We've seen it all. Explain your business as if you were explaining it to a kid. What is your niche target market? What is your main problems, constraints that your market faces? What do you want this agent or agent to do specifically? Any other info we should know? And then at the end, they book a call. This call goes onto our solutions engineer's calendar, and that's who does the fulfillment. And then this form submission also triggers this Zap, which gets added into a spreadsheet so we can track it, and then also sends a Discord notification to our solutions engineer. Boom, pings him. Solutions engineer, a partner has submitted their done for you fulfillment form. Then he hops on the call with the client. He gets all the information that he needs on that call, access to any of their systems, the CRMs, anything he needs to do the build. Starts the build, does the integration, set up the follow-up triggers, the webhooks, the post-call outcomes, the pre-call outcomes, etc. launches the agent on another call with the client to make sure they're happy with it, show them a live demo of the AI, make sure they love everything they see. Then we launch the AI. That's how you do a smooth client onboarding, and you get a happy client and a ton of referrals and endless money for life. So that's how you go about that. So, guys, I know this is quite a bit to go through here. And as you can see, this is a decent little bit of stuff, but this is a very good overview and give you a good idea of what this process looks like. And so if there's any aspects of this that you want me to make a separate video on just covering one of these aspects, let me know down below. And if you do want to work with us, click the link down below and we can really help you build all of this. Our whole team will come in and build all of this with you, show you how to do it, show you how to scale, and help you get to that 10 to 50K a month mark within a first couple months. And that's what we do with every single partner we work with, regardless of the market they go after, regardless of where they are in the world. So if that's something you would want to do, click the link down below. We'll see if you can apply for that and see if you qualify. But I hope this gave you a ton of information, and I'll see you in the next one.